Hello, I'm Grant Wallstrom, contributing editor to Internal Auditor magazine's fraud department and senior manager of fraud, forensics, and investigations at ADT in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm pleased to introduce this episode of Fraud on the All Things Internal Audit podcast, which provides fictionalized account of fraud based on actual events. IIA members can read the full fraud article exclusively in the February 2024 issue of Internal Auditor magazine, including bonus material on lessons learned. Listen now to delayed deposits.
Part 1. Healthy Reconciliations. Bluebell Healthcare is a $1 billion public healthcare system with 4 hospitals and 25 clinics serving a community of more than 5 million people. Bluebell prides itself on providing the highest level of healthcare to its customers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The healthcare system's standard operating procedures require cash and check payments to be deposited on the next business day. Monday through Friday, revenue pours in from dozens of departments making deposits into Bluebell's bank account. Bluebell staff accountants reconcile daily revenue collections to the bank deposits. Because of holidays, weekends, and other discrepancies, the lag between revenue collections and deposits typically is 1 to 3 days. If an accountant observes a deposit has not been made timely, he or she is required to contact the offending department. Occasionally, a department will miss a daily deposit, usually the result of an employee being on vacation. The revenue reconciliation process is time-consuming and repetitive, so it's probably not surprising that late deposits often go unquestioned, as they typically appear a day or two later. However, Bluebell Hospital North, one of the hospitals within the system, had gained the dubious reputation as a repeat offender when it came to making late deposits. Part 2. Doctoring the deposits? Stephanie Abrams, an administrative assistant at the hospital for nearly 15 years, was responsible for collecting all revenue, preparing a deposit ticket, and delivering the deposit to the bank. As a longtime employee, Abrams knew the revenue collection SOPs, yet deposits from Bluebell North sometimes ran as much as 7 days late. Robert James, the staff accountant assigned to reconcile revenue collections and deposits for Bluebell North, had been with the healthcare system for more than 10 years. He knew Abrams well as they were members of a local church group. Indeed, Abrams recommended James for his position with Bluebell. It wasn't uncommon for James to call or email Abrams about a missing deposit, and she often blamed one department or another for being too busy to complete its deposit before the bank closed for the evening. On occasion, when the deposit was missing for more than a few days, Abrams offered to inquire if the deposit had been misplaced by the bank. Over the years, James observed that the deposits always appeared in the bank even if they were a few days late. So he never reported the late deposits to his supervisor. That is, until a $1,231 deposit went missing for 11 days. Making matters worse, all the subsequent deposits, which totaled more than $12,000, also were missing. Part 3. We're a healthcare system, not a payday lender. After the initial deposit had been missing for 5 days, James called Abrams. She told him the hospital was very busy and she was not able to make the deposits on time. She assured James that she would catch up on all the deposits that day. However, 5 more days went by and still no deposits were made. What's more, Abrams stopped answering James' phone calls and emails. James decided he had to report the missing deposits to his manager. It didn't take Eric Wallace, Bluebell Healthcare's controller, long to call in reinforcements once he learned that no deposits were received from Bluebell North for 11 days. He immediately reported it to Robert Jones, Bluebell's CAE. Jones requested copies of all bank statements for the past 6 months and the revenue reports used to verify the revenue collections. Jones verified the daily deposits against the revenue reports and confirmed the correct amount of money was deposited. He observed that the deposits often lagged for up to 7 days, and that the lag would increase and then decrease back to 3 to 5 days. When Jones shared his findings with Wallace noticed the lags would decrease or catch up right after Bluebell's biweekly paydays and increase throughout the next payroll cycle. Armed with this information, Jones scheduled an interview with Abrams and Jackie Vassie, Director of Human Resources. Jones asked Abrams about the missing deposits, and she quickly admitted to using cash from Bluebell to pay her personal bills when money was tight. She said she always repaid Bluebell when she received her next paycheck. However, when her financial situation deteriorated, she could not catch up. Abrams confessed to taking the missing $12,000 and was planning to return it as soon as she could. Jones and Vassie then interviewed James, who explained that he and Abrams were friends outside work, but that he was not aware that she was borrowing the funds. He admitted that he had not followed the revenue reconciliation SOPs because he trusted Abrams. After additional questioning, Skull and Vassie became convinced James did not know about the scheme and was an unwitting participant. Vassie fired Abrams and reported the incident to local law enforcement. Abrams was arrested and eventually pleaded guilty. She avoided jail time but was required to make restitution and serve 1 year of house arrest. James was reprimanded for not following reconciliation SOPs. Following the incident, Wallace conducted departmental training to review operating procedures with his entire team. In addition, he began rotating responsibilities within the accounting department to keep his accountants from becoming complacent in their daily tasks.
This has been Fraud, a fictionalized account based on actual events, brought to you by the Institute of Internal Auditors. IIA members can access the full story in the February 2024 issue of Internal Auditor magazine, including bonus material on lessons learned. To read more, visit internalauditor.theiia.org. For more fraud-related resources, including guidance and thought leadership from the IIA and the ACFE, visit theiia.org/ACFE fraud.